Hey everybody, welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In this consultation video, we're going to do a broad spectrum look at this account. It's a 6.4 billion account, VIP 18, so a lot of money has been put in. I'll just take a quick peek at the rankings and let you know what I find, just to get an idea of where this player is sitting in terms of their server. So they are number one in terms of Monarch power. They're approximately double the second place, so they're well ahead of the rest of the people on the server. Let's take a look at the alliance. All right, so they are in the largest alliance, the most active alliance, and definitely the strongest by looking at what I see here. There are three main alliances on the server, but that is the most active one. Okay, we're going to take a look at just whatever I can find. I haven't looked through here yet. We're just gonna scroll around. I see it's a keep 38. The rally spot here is at 38. I'm gonna see if I can zoom out a little. It's a little tricky sometimes on these emulators. Apparently not. Okay, we'll go with what I have. Let's start by looking at troops. We're going to go into the rally spot. We'll look at the troop details. 14s are all unlocked, of course. We have a really good amount of T14. Pretty heavy on the cavalry, but everything is looking pretty good. 13s. 13s are looking good as well. I mean, these are some pretty high numbers. So it's 6.4 billion, so you'd expect a lot of troops. You got 500 million troops, so I'm guessing that there's a lot of higher end troops, but I'm thinking that there's probably going to be a lot of lower end as well for a little more defensibility. Yeah. So we've got 100 million T1 warriors, 100 million of the ranged, 100 million of everything basically. So pretty well rounded on the bottom end, which is nice to see. That's looking pretty good. I'm not too worried at all with this troop count. Troop count is pretty stellar actually. A lot of siege that can be used. Yeah, it's looking really solid in terms of troop count. No real concerns here. It's very solid. Let's take a look at the presets. Just want to see what they're using here. So we've got Elise. Right. Okay. It's looking like a pretty decent preset. You don't necessarily... I'm guessing that these zeros here are because the preset is actually set for a March increase. So I'm guessing here that I'm not going to do it because I don't want to waste this person's stuff. But if I went over here and I did I skip it? I did. March size capacity. I don't know if it's a junior or medium that they use, but I would be pretty shocked if they didn't have layers all the way down. That's a pretty common thing to see. I mean, you use a March increase on battlefields and whenever you're going to do PvP attacks, so it makes sense to have presets that are matching that. It's unfortunate that Evony doesn't scale it down so that the layers are still there, like drop everything by a small percentage just to make sure that you have a little bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, you don't need much in terms of layers. You just need them to exist. So for ground, that looks good. Top heavy ground, yeah, that's the right way to go. Let's take a look at, this is what, archers. Okay, archers are pretty top heavy too. I mean, that's fine. Personally, I would go a little bit less here and a little more here just for sustainability, so you can launch more and more and more. But I mean, that's fine. You could even lower the top end a little bit and increase some of the bottom, but I mean, it'll work just fine the way it is too. Okay. This is the cavalry PvP setup. I might suggest decreasing this a little bit just so that there's maybe increase this a tiny bit. You have a lot of T14 and a lot less T13, so if you're launching this preset multiple times, you're going to run out of your T13 really quickly, like in 2-3 hits. Whereas if it's a little more balanced, you'll be able to hit several more times without running out of troops. And the T14, T13, I mean, they're both going to do the job. Is it siege, I'm guessing? Yeah, siege. So this is set up as a high siege. Got a lot of 14s. Could use 13s as well. I mean, your 14s are going to deteriorate pretty quickly, but I mean, that's fine. What's this one? This is probably the low siege. T11, I'm guessing. Yeah. All right. So this is one of the troop counts. I mean, you got a really big march size. So if you are doing a lot of siege rallies in your alliance, which is possible at your size, I'd increase this. I mean, just looking at how much you have here, you'd only be able to sling 2 and then you're kind of out. And tier 11 are pretty easy to train as opposed to like tier 14. So I definitely try to increase this a bit. I mean, you have 5 million, which is a really good number, but more is always better, right? So if you're going to train some troops, do that. And I don't know what this is. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. I mean, it's a boss general. I'm not really sure what this one is. Okay, let's take a look at generals. So we saw some of the main generals that they're using for PvP. Let's go take a look at Elise. Where was our Elise? Is it under favorite, maybe? Make it a little easier to find. Or not. There we are. 3 stars. Okay, beautiful. Almost fully specialized. You're going to want to finish that off, obviously. How far are you? You got a long way to go here. That's a tough one to do, that final one. Your Elise is looking pretty strong in terms of the equipment choices. Yeah, decent rolls. That's looking pretty strong too, overall. I mean, it's tough. This is beautiful, and the other 3 are so-so. But it's really, really tough to be re-rolling. It's very costly when you have multiple that you have to lock. It's a tough thing to do. This is looking okay. What I'm seeing is you have some really strong refining, but you also have some very weak ones. And it depends on how you want to do your investment here. Like, it's going to cost a lot to fix some of these 20s and 19s and 17s. In the end, a couple percentages won't matter, but when you add them all together, I mean, you're losing, I don't know, like at least 20% there, 15% there. You know, it does add up. All these small numbers do add up, and that's why I suggest when you're doing refining, you are very, very picky for the first one. Like, get this, and then settle for no less on the second refine than a 26. And then when you get the 20 and the 17, it doesn't feel as bad. But when you have multiple, like 20, 19, 17s, it's a hard pill to swallow, because later when you try to fix it, it's going to cost so much. It really is, especially with these civilization pieces. I mean, the cost to just fix those couple, is it worth it? I don't know. Like, it depends on how many gems you have and how many refining stones you have. It can be very, very costly, and what seems like a huge surplus of stones and gems quickly dissipates. So always try at the very beginning to be really picky with the first 2 refines. But you have every piece, you have one really nice one. 28, 29. I mean, that's good stuff. Overall, your Elise is looking really strong. Let's see your dragon here. Yeah, you could fix a couple of these. I mean, the dragon refines are a lot easier to fix. So you could definitely increase some of those. 17.2 is nice. 15.6 is okay. These ones definitely work on those. You can definitely squeeze another 10% on there easy. Skills, ground speed, defense, HP, sure. Okay. What else we got to look at? We got your Patronus, who's at 1 star. Pretty solid choice. We've got the Abbess Mace. So these percentages are going to be really beneficial for your high siege, but less so for those tier 11 ones that you're doing. Generally, I would recommend trying for really nice flat percentages, but if you get something like, holy crap, 30, 29, those are beautiful. If you get something like that, keep it. But overall, for the how do I want to say this? For the purpose of siege, flat percentages are going to perform a little bit better. Just because we tend to use lower siege more commonly. But there's nothing wrong with really good percentages as well. Yeah, HP is looking good. They're pretty low numbers, but I mean, the attack is the most important thing for siege, to be honest. I mean, you don't expect your siege to really last. You just want to do as much damage as possible. So these are all great. Percentages aren't as high, but I would prioritize archers, ground, cav, like those ones as opposed to these. But I mean, it is important. HP is important. So if you have the opportunity to increase these, definitely do. You don't have a dragon here. You're using a spirit beast. Using your, what was that? Okay, you're using the behemoth. Yeah. And you know, it's fine in the short term, but eventually you would want to get a dragon on there because dragons are just more effective. And let's take a quick look at your dragons, see what you have available. You have these two, obviously. Okay, they're only at level 9, so you got to push that a little bit. I can see that the refining is decent here. This one could be increased. And refining on dragons is pretty easy, so that one should be a higher priority to fix. Let's take a look over here at your Dragon Cliff. Yeah, you can fix these. Probably leave this, but fix these two. You got Norway Ridge, you got Dragon of Deeps, and you have it on George Dewey. We'll take a look at your wall general a little bit. That's looking good overall. I'd fix this one, but the rest are looking pretty good. Okay. Anything else? All right, so you're at Wonder 2, and that's probably why you're using that that Spirit Beast on your Patronus, which makes sense for the short term. Obviously, you're going to want to get your Wonder 3 and get that extra dragon because that makes a huge difference. But for now, it is what it is, and that looks pretty good. All right. So we looked at those 2 4-star on your Zhao Yun. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Fully specialized, nice. Yeah, this is probably your strongest general. Just looking at the power and the gear just at a glance. Some good numbers here. This is looking nice. Wow, that's very nice. Those are some nice bracers. Very nice. Armor. So you got the full 6 set. That's cool. Looks good. This could be improved a little bit. These ones are good, but again, it's that same thing, right? Like being picky. If you had managed to get like a 29 and a 27 and a 23 and a 23, it would be a lot. I mean, you'd be gaining 10% at least of mounted HP, which does make a difference. This is looking better. Yeah, overall, this one's really solid. It's looking pretty good, and you're almost at 5-star. Attack, HP, and march size. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. And I think we talked about this one. There's like a couple easy fixes here. Yeah, that's not bad. No, this is the one that was not bad at all. Yeah, your Fafner is looking good. Okay. Who else? What are your other guys that you're mainly using? I think you had Electra somewhere that I did not look at. Electra, where are you? Okay, you're not favorited. That's why. Come on, Electra. There we are. 4-star. Very nice. Still need to get that last specialty. Yeah, that last runestone is a difficult one. But 4-star is very impressive. Very nice. Why do the cultivation seems really low? Maybe it's just me. And possibly because dragon is a little bit lower, so it's displaying a little bit lower than I'd expect. Oh, I don't have safe code. But it's 39. I would expect the number to be slightly higher. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's just the dragon. Okay, let's take a look at Electra's gear. So there's only 2 civilization pieces here, but that's okay. Those numbers are really good for Ares. This needs work. Yeah, there's nothing here that's worth keeping. Definitely want to re-roll that, but my guess is you're probably waiting on a civilization piece to replace, which is okay. But yeah, that piece right now isn't so great. Abbot's Boots, what do we have? Nothing. Okay, this is so far definitely your weak point in terms of PvP generals. Nice 28.4. I'm not sure what the upper range of that is. And I wouldn't be able to check because I got the safe code there. Right? Fine. Oh, I can. Okay. A little bit lower. I would probably re-roll that too. I'd keep this one for sure, and I'd re-roll everything and hope for better. Because I mean, this is civilization. You want to be really picky when it comes to civilization with the first 2. That's a nice roll. I'd keep that one. The rest I would re-roll. These are a little bit low. Yeah, I mean, altogether it adds up to a good number, but then you have to go and improve it, and it's so costly. But I wouldn't, like, if you were going to go with another fearless piece, it would make more sense probably. Like if you're not waiting on civilization, it would make more sense to craft another fearless Achaemenid ring and to start from scratch and just be really picky with those numbers, and you should be able to squeeze out another 15%. I mean, it takes time, takes refined stones, takes gems, but 15% is a big deal. But again, I mean, if you're going to put a civilization piece on there, then ignore that because, well, I mean, it's going to be a better piece overall anyway. So I'm not really sure where you want to prioritize that, but I do remember that this dragon was weaker. Yeah, there's definitely some refining that you're going to want to fix here. Keep these 2, re-roll these. These are low. Refining a dragon is a lot easier than equipment. Range attack, range bonus, and march size. The march size increase is debatable. I mean, it does increase your march size, but this 12% is based on your like your unbuffed march size. So you're not going to get so many more troops. It's not a bad thing to have. It's not bad to have march size increase, but I just think it might be more beneficial to have HP there instead. Because you got, wait, can Electra have HP? Yeah. So I might recommend here switching this for HP. You might get more benefit from having just higher HP on your troops than just a few more troops. Just a offhand suggestion there. Okay, let's take a look at your subordinate cities. Baldwin, Constantine the Great. Yeah, these are all good. Good choices. So we got Japan, Russia. Arabia is not very useful. I mean, I know it's really hard to get rid of orange quality subs. Like, you want to keep them, but it's just not as useful. If you can trade that for even even a blue Japan is better than that. Everything else looks great. Okay. What else should we look at? Let's go to some of the more important things. Let's look at the military academy. So you're at 3. Okay. You've got a lot done here. Some of it, like, these are fine. HP, defense when attacking, these are all good. That one probably didn't need to be done. Like, it's tempting to just complete everything, but tactic scrolls and gold, I mean, it's in short supply. So try to avoid things like Holy Palace deserter capacity and those kind. They're just not necessary. Skip over them, because with the extra 12 that you did there that you didn't need to do, you could have pumped out something like Solid Shield. I mean, that would have been a whole lot better. I'm sure you figured that out along the way, though. I mean, everybody pumps up those first ones are like, hey, I'm doing so great, and then you realize at Military Academy 3, it starts to get really tight. So just try to avoid those ones that you don't really need. This is like, it's not bad to have defense against monsters. It's just, what's your priority? Is it PvP? Because if it's PvP, then that one isn't as useful as some of the other things. But if it means that you're not going to be successful in killing bosses, then by all means do it. It's just, it depends on what your priority in the game is. Overall, you're making pretty good progress in here. Yeah. Ranged is a little bit behind. This one too, like, I feel like, which one? No, that's useful. That's not. See what I mean? It's these kind of things. You didn't need to pump that up to 20. You could have left some of that out, skipped it, and instead you would have, yeah, you don't even need to get that. You just need to get that to the 8. Yeah, you just need 8. So if you just got those 2 to 8, you probably would have had this done. And that's a whole lot more useful. Let's take a look over here at your academy. Okay, I'm going to focus here on military stuff. Just make sure that all your important ones are done. This is all done. Yep. Subsidies. Yes. Finish this off. That one's a priority for sure. What else? Okay. Good. Advance. Start at the beginning. Everything's done. Good. So the only real one that you need to work on is get that done as soon as possible. That's important. You have 9 subsidies, an extra 1% for every subsidy. 1% attack, that's 9%. It's an easy 9% for one technology. You have 9, yeah. Yeah, okay. What else? Civ treasures, 4. Wow. Couple 4s, couple 3s. How far away? Very close. Yeah, you're pretty much at 4 for everything, or very close to. Yeah, very close. Wow. That's very nice. Let's take a look at your equipment. I already saw that you have a ton. Why the graphics aren't loading because I didn't update my game. Okay. You have no Plantagenet. That's interesting. I would expect even free-to-plays have this just from the Taiki's wheel, but maybe you started a little bit later. You got all the 4-piece Ferencazan. I think you had 6-piece Abbas, 6-piece Koryo. Okay, we didn't look at your wall yet. 1, 2, 3, 4 Rurik. Yeah, full Abbas, full Bourbon. Nice. So you got some really good stuff. You're missing a few surprising pieces, like the Plantagenet and Freedom that were a lot easier to get, but that I'm not sure what that is. That might just be you're on a newer server. But let's take a look at your wall general. I skipped that, and I shouldn't have. You were using Dewey, who is right here. 3 stars. Very nice. That's going to be a nice one to get. Again, the numbers are really low, but I'm pretty sure that's your dragon, right? Like, these are really low numbers for the dragon. Your dragon is 6. Yeah, 6. So those will go up. And when the stats go up, like, it'll improve your general quite a bit. So pumping up that dragon would be very nice. You're fully specialized, beautiful. Range bonus, perfect. Range attack. That's okay. I mean, the third piece, these two are absolutely necessary. The range. This one could be anything. I mean, it could be range, could be ground, could be siege. I mean, anything works, really. All right, so what I suggest for wall generals is try to stick a little more to flat numbers, especially when you have a lot of low-end troops, like the lower tier troops. You've really padded your tier 1s. So the percentages aren't going to affect your tier 1s very much. They don't get a whole lot out of percentages just because their base attack, their base whatever, like look at your tier 1 cav. Tier 1 cav stats, they have, I mean, it's 966 because it's buffed, but it's a much lower number than that. And when you add percentages to a low number, it's not going to change a whole lot. But if you add a flat number to it, it increases so much. So all those level 1s that you have, and really anything under tier 12 and under, generally benefit more from flat numbers. And when you look at the troop counts that you have 500 million troops. On attack, the high tier ones that you have in your March preset, like your Elise here, these are going to benefit more from percentages because they're really high tier troops. That being said, I mean, there's debuffs and everything to consider as well. But on defense, when you're looking at your actual troops, your tier 14 and your tier 13, they only make up so many troops. And yes, these troops will benefit more from percentages. However, anything here, all these, this is several 100 million of troops. These ones all benefit more from flat numbers. So on a wall general, try to try to pick refines that are more flat number oriented, especially for the attacks. So these siege machine attacks, like 29.9%, that's really good for your upper siege when you're defending, but not so much for anything lower. So things like 219, I don't really know. Like the numbers for siege are pretty low. Okay, but it still goes up to 500. So like if you can get like 450 to 513, like those numbers, those are going to be a lot more solid than even 29.9%. If you get a 500, it's going to be way better than 29.9% on defense. So keep that in mind. Like if you want to re-roll those and get flat numbers, you're going to be a lot more effective defending than you would with percentages. This is just specifically for wall general. Like this, yeah, this 492. Drop these. Look for flat numbers for siege, even like your those mounted that you have and the ground troops and all that. Flat numbers are going to decimate people with the hundreds of million of tier 1 that you have. If you have really good flat numbers, you are going to cause some serious damage. This is looking really good. So you've got a lot of mounted defense. I mean, the numbers are really good. I don't know if you want to be completely focused on just mounted troops, because they die real quick. They really do. And usually you want to use your mounted troops more offensively than defensively. So if you're keeping them at home, you're probably not making the right choice, unless, I mean, this is the tier 13 and 14 I'm talking about. You want to use those in attacks because you want them to be effective. If you're just keeping them at home, they're just going to die. It doesn't matter how much defense you have. A big archer rally is just going to wipe them out and they're not going to do anything. So a lot of these defense refines are not going to be so useful. I'd look for more like ground or siege, or something that is going to be a little more defensible rather than mounted troop defense, unless you're planning on keeping your mounted at home. But that wouldn't generally be the best idea for the upper mounted. Yeah, you want to protect them, but you want to use them in the most effective way possible, and that's usually offensively. Yeah, you're all focused on mounted. This is not bad. HP, yeah, that's looking good. I'd like to see a little more siege HP, because people are going to be hitting you with siege first, especially the size that you are. And mounted HP isn't going to help you as much as siege HP for those early hits. Yeah, so you're entirely mounted. Wall generals want to be a little more balanced. So get some siege on there. Try to diversify a little, and I think you should see an improvement. Yeah, I mean, those are really good mounted. Don't get me wrong; that's going to be really high stats for mounted, but you're not 100% mounted as a defender. I don't know. I would suggest diversifying a little bit. Keep some of the really good ones, because there's nothing at all wrong with having some good mounted stuff, but I would say diversify a little bit on that wall general. Okay, let's see. That was generals we looked at. We've talked about troops. We've talked about your gear. What else can we look at? Who do you have on your wall? You've got Dewey and Leonidas. Okay, good choices. Okay. What do you have as duty officers? Ashoka. Okay, 2 stars. Cool. Okay, Hideyoshi, 1 star, beautiful. Got Maurice, 1 star. Okay. Hammurabi. Don't see Hammurabi too often. Nice. Skanderbeg. I think you can get a star on him. Get this. Be nice. He's an easy one because you can just get him in the hospital. So easy 1 star there. It's your stables officer. Ban Chow. How come he's on your forge? What do you have on your archer tower? Did I miss it? Archer tower, archer. Oh yeah, you got Maurice. Okay. Never mind. This guy could use a star. Yeah, you got Guanru. Okay, you got good stuff. You got really good generals. Yeah, you got some really good stuff. And a lot of extra choices too. Now that's looking, your duty officers are looking fantastic. Let's take a look at your talents. Okay. You got the Wind Dagger, level 9, but these guys are all low. Level 7 seems really low. Oh, look, you can even upgrade it. Yeah, you got some upgrades that you didn't even realize you could do. So you should compose those and fix them up. Talents. Okay, your first talent sets. Offering mortality. Sure. Yeah, so this is your everyday kind. I like to see, like, if this is your boss one, which, I mean, you've got mortality, so probably is, it might make more sense to go here and then to city attack. Just, you know, so that you can hit people. But if you're not somebody that is constantly hitting people on your server, then ignore that. It's fine as it is. But if you are, if you do hit people, then go here so that you have something that is like an everyday kind of able to hit people and all that kind of stuff. Almost at 40. No, that looks good. Everything here looks pretty good. What's your second set? This is your PvP one, I'm guessing. Yeah, so you go support in city. In city HP, yeah. You got 2 unused talent points here. So I'm not going to do it, but yeah. Click. All right. Let's take a look at your buildings. You're just about ready for keep 39, it looks like. Yeah, 38. What do you need again? 39. Okay, Triumphal Arch, level 1. Art Hall, 38. All right, so you got to boost that up. You're not that far away from 39. Okay. What else can we look at? So we've talked about generals, troops, dragons, refining, all that good stuff. Your presets, everything looks really good. So I think mostly the focus for you is fixing all those refines on several pieces of gear. You might want to craft a few just to, you know, you can, that way, like if you have a Ecumenidae or an Ares that you're using that's decent and you don't have any civilization pieces coming up, it just makes more sense sometimes to craft a new one and start from scratch than it does to try to fix it. It saves a lot more time, and then that way you're not left with a piece of gear that isn't very useful for a while. So, and then when it's better, you swap it. What am I doing here? I wanted to look at your Baldwin. Subordinate cities. All right. Embassy. All right. You do not have to refine all this. Okay. Never mind. It looks like this was probably just an old piece of gear that you swapped on, and that's why it had refined. So it kind of tricked me for a second. I thought you were refining all your subordinate city generals. Yeah. Okay. Looks good, looks good. Yep. Beautiful. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else we really need to look at. I think we've pretty much covered it. Yeah, I mean it's a really solid account. You've got a lot going on. It's looking like it's shaping up really well. What do you use for bosses? I didn't see that. Do you just use your PvP guy on bosses? I saw you did have the Aethelflate. I don't know if you're actually using that for bosses. Take a quick look. Is it just out of me? Is it just me, or does this dude just not fit in? I feel like there's something about this guy that just doesn't quite fit in with the lore of the game. Could be the assault rifle. I don't know. Okay, it should be in development. That's where she'll be. All right. So I didn't take a look at you, but you have 2 stars, so obviously you're used. And you got the Spirit Beast. Yeah. Same thing. Like, some of the stuff is really good. Some of it just needs to be refined a little better. That's nice. I like that piece. This one has some work you can definitely do. I mean, I wouldn't keep any of these, to be honest. They're not good enough. I would re-roll and get something better. But at the same time, I mean, if you're killing stuff, then the priority probably shouldn't be there. Like if you're doing fine on boss 16, then you probably don't need to worry about that so much. I mean, there's other priorities to work on for refining. But if you are looking for that extra push, there's definitely some refining that can be done. Yeah. But, I mean, she's solid. What do you have? So there are books. I mean, you're not going to be using this for PvP. So you should be changing these books for the monster versions. They're usually at the bottom here. Oh, you don't have any? Development. Oh yeah, it's development. Like mounted troop attack against monster, 45%, as opposed to which one's this one, right? 25%. I mean, that just a skill book change is an extra 20%. So definitely do that. I mean, this is a boss killer. You've got Rurik on it, and she's set up for bosses. Definitely just change your books out. You're not going to use this on PvP, so yeah, easy fix there. All right, I think that is about it for this video. Hopefully this consultation has been helpful. And if you do have any questions as the consultee, then just send me some messages and I can answer any further questions that you might have. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like button and checking out other videos on The Miser's Guide to Evony. I'll see you in the next video.